doors of the Galactic Council chamber were massive. They stretched up so high that Taiwan had to tilt his head back to see where they ended. He had walked through these doors many times before, but today felt different. Today, humanity was asking for something important. Taiwan wore his best suit, dark blue with the Earth symbol on his chest. Behind him walked Wan, the smartest scientist humanity had ever produced. Next to her was Sung Ho, a military officer who had served Earth for 30 years. They were the best humans had to offer. The council chamber was enormous. Thousands of aliens sat in curved rows that circled the center floor. Some looked like giant insects. Others were made of crystal that glowed with soft light. Some floated in tanks of liquid. Others were just clouds of gas held together by force fields. Every species in the galaxy had a representative here. Taiwan walked to the center of the floor. His footsteps echoed in the silent chamber. He could feel thousands of eyes watching him. Some had multiple eyes. Some had no eyes at all but still watched somehow. Honorable council members, Taiwan began. His voice was steady and calm. I come before you today representing humanity. We have been probationary members of this council for 50 years. In that time, we have proven ourselves. We have followed every rule. We have paid every fee. We have helped where we could. Today, we formally request to become full members of the Galactic Council. The silence continued for a moment. Then someone laughed. It was a harsh hissing sound. The Vorath speaker, a reptilian creature with scales that shimmered green and black, rose from his seat. The humans want to be full members, he said. His voice dripped with contempt. These children who only learned to leave their planet 200 years ago. These primitives who still fight wars among themselves. More laughter rippled through the chamber. Taiwan stood still. His face showed nothing. A being made of pure crystal representing the Lumini civilization began to glow brighter. Let us examine humanity's accomplishments, the Lumini said. Its voice sounded like bells ringing. They travel in chemical rockets. Chemical rockets! Technology we abandoned 10,000 years ago. They split atoms to make weapons. How barbaric. How crude. They polluted their own world, another voice shouted from the crowd. This came from an Ethrek, a being that looked like purple smoke contained in a transparent suit. They nearly destroyed themselves before they even reached their own moon. And they want to sit as equals with civilizations that have existed for millions of years? Taiwan waited for the noise to die down. We acknowledge our past mistakes, he said quietly. But we have learned from them. We have learned? The Vorath speaker interrupted. You are infants. Dangerous infants. You should be grateful we even allowed you into our space. You should be grateful we gave you probationary status instead of quarantining your entire system. An old voice cut through the mockery. Honored members, please. Council Elder Gina stood slowly. She was a preserver, one of the oldest species in the galaxy. Her kind had been exploring the stars when most other species were still living in caves. Humanity has contributed much in these 50 years. They have shared their medical research. They have helped maintain communication networks. They have done what we told them to do. The Vorath speaker interrupted again. Nothing more. They are servants, Elder Gina. Useful servants, perhaps, but servants nonetheless. Gina looked at Taiwan with sad eyes. Then she sat down. The message was clear. She could not help him. The council voted. It did not take long. The result appeared on screens throughout the chamber. 0 votes in favor of full membership. 3,247 votes against. But it did not end there. Furthermore, the Vorath speaker announced, clearly enjoying himself, the council has decided that humanity has expanded too quickly. You now control 12 star systems. This is excessive for such a young species. You are forbidden from colonizing any new worlds. You will remain in your current 12 systems until the council decides you are ready for more. This may take centuries. Heywan's hand tightened into a fist. Sung Ho's jaw clenched, but Taiwan remained calm. Additionally, the Vorath continued, humans will no longer be permitted to develop weapons beyond Class 3 technology. Your research into quantum drives will cease immediately. Your experiments with dimensional physics will stop. These technologies are too dangerous for a species as immature as yours, the Lumini representative added. And your tribute to the council will increase. 20% of your gross system product will be paid annually. This is for your own protection, of course. The galaxy is dangerous. You need us to keep you safe, 20%. That would cripple Earth's economy. It would stop human progress completely. They would spend generations just paying the council. Taiwan took a slow breath. He looked around the chamber at all the species who were laughing at humanity, who saw humans as nothing more than children to be controlled and used. I understand, Taiwan said. His voice was so quiet that the chamber fell silent to hear him. The council has made its position clear. Humanity understands where we stand in your eyes. Good, the Vorth speaker said. Then you may leave. We have important matters to discuss, matters that do not concern probationary members. Taiwan nodded once, just once. It was a small movement, but something in it made Gina lean forward in her seat. She had seen that nod before. It was the kind of nod a person makes when they have made a decision. A final decision. We will respond accordingly, Taiwan said. He turned and walked toward the massive doors. Heiwan and Sung-ho followed. Their footsteps echoed in the now silent chamber. No one spoke. No one laughed anymore. Something about the way the humans walked made the chamber feel suddenly cold. As the doors closed behind them, Sung-ho whispered, "What do we do now?" Taiwan kept walking. "We leave," he said simply. "We leave completely. They will try to stop us," Heiwan said. "No," Taiwan replied. "They will be glad to see us go. They think we are nothing. They think we are weak. Let them think that. And then?" Sung-ho asked. Taiwan stopped walking. He turned to look at his companions. In his eyes was something cold and hard. Not anger, not hatred, something else, determination. "Then we show them what humanity really is," Taiwan said. "Not by arguing, not by begging, not by trying to prove ourselves to beings who will never respect us. We show them by walking away. And when they realize what they have lost when they come crawling back, then they will understand what it means to dismiss humanity." The three humans walked to their ship in silence. Behind them, in the council chamber, the meeting continued. The species laughed and talked about trivial matters. None of them noticed the danger they had just created. None of them understood what they had done. They had insulted humanity. And worse, they had underestimated them. That was their first mistake. It would not be their last. 3 months had passed since the council meeting. 3 months of silence from Earth. Captain Daijung stood on the bridge of his ship, looking at the alien station below. It was a trading post in Voreth space. 500 humans lived there, working as traders, engineers, and diplomats. They had built their lives here over the past 20 years. "Send the signal," Daijung said quietly. His communications officer nodded. The signal went out. It was simple and direct. 4 words: pack everything, come home. Within hours, every human on the station began packing. They took everything. Their clothes, their tools, their personal items. But they also took something else. They took every piece of human technology. Every computer, every medical device, every communication relay that human engineers had installed. The alien merchants watched in confusion. "What are you doing?" one of them asked. "Leaving," a human trader said simply. She did not explain further. "But why? What happened?" The human woman smiled sadly. "Ask your council," she said. Then she walked onto the transport ship and never looked back. This scene repeated across the entire galaxy. On every station, every colony, every outpost where humans lived, the same thing happened. They packed. They took everything that belonged to them. And they left. Engineer Miran supervised the dismantling of a joint research facility on a Lumini world. The Lumini scientist watched in shock as humans carefully removed components from machines they had built together. "You cannot take that," a Lumini scientist said. "That is part of our shared project on quantum communication." Miran looked at the contract on her datapad. "Article 12, Section 4, she read aloud. "All components manufactured or designed by human personnel remain human property unless explicitly transferred through proper documentation." "We never signed a transfer document." "But we were partners," the Lumini protested. "Were we?" Miran asked. "Did your council representative vote to accept our full membership? Did they vote against restricting our expansion? Did they vote against those unfair tribute fees?" The Lumini scientist said nothing. "That is what I thought," Miran said. She carefully disconnected the quantum resonator, a device she had personally invented. "This research will continue. Just not here. Good luck with your communication project." The Lumini facility went dark 3 days later. The humans had been running 70% of the systems. The council barely noticed at first. Good riddance to the troublesome humans. The galaxy would be more peaceful without them. Then the problems started small. The Galactic Communication Network began having errors. Messages took longer to arrive. Some messages never arrived at all. Engineers from various species tried to fix the problems, but the systems were complex. The humans had been maintaining them for 40 years, always improving, always updating. No one else fully understood how they worked anymore. Trade routes began to fail. The paths through dangerous asteroid fields that human pilots had mapped suddenly became too risky. The safe passages through radiation zones that humans had discovered were forgotten. Pirate attacks increased in sectors that human security forces had been patrolling. Then the bigger problems appeared. On a Vorath industrial world, the power grid failed. Specifically, the fusion reactors failed, the ones that humans had built and maintained, the ones that provided 30% of the planet's power. The Vorath engineers rushed to fix them, but the reactors required human-made maintenance codes that had just expired, codes that the humans were not there to renew. The planet went to emergency power. Millions of Vorath sat in darkness. This happened on 200 worlds across Council space, all in the same week. The message was clear, even though no message was actually sent. The humans were not coming back. Medical facilities began to fail next. Not the buildings themselves, but the treatments. For 50 years, human doctors had been sharing research, new ways to treat diseases, new medicines, new surgical techniques. The aliens had accepted these gifts happily, never thinking to learn how to replicate them themselves. Why should they? The humans would always be there. Now the humans were not there, and people were dying from diseases that could have been cured. The council called an emergency session. The Vorath speaker stood before the assembly. "We need to address the human situation," he said. For the first time, his voice was not mocking. It was worried. "What situation?" Another representative asked. "They left. Good. We are better off without them." "Are we?" the Vorath speaker asked. He displayed a list on the central screen. It was long. It detailed every system, every service, every piece of technology that humans had been maintaining. The list scrolled for 5 full minutes. The council chamber became very quiet. "Send a diplomatic mission to Earth," someone suggested. "Tell them to come back. Offer them better terms." The Ethrek ambassador shook his head. His purple smoke swirled with agitation. "We already tried. They refuse to see our diplomats. Our ships cannot even enter human space. They turn us away at the border." "They cannot do that," the Lumini representative said. "They are doing it," the Ethrek replied. "They have closed their borders completely." "Not violently. They simply refuse all contact. Our messages go unanswered. Our ships are not allowed to pass. They have gone silent." Council Elder Gina had been sitting quietly through all of this. Now she stood. "What did you expect?" she asked. Her old voice was sad. "You mocked them. You restricted them. You treated them as servants. And now you are surprised they left?" "We gave them access to the galaxy," the Vorath speaker protested. "We gave them protection." "Did you?" Gina asked. "Or did you give them rules and restrictions? Did you give them respect? Did you give them equality? No. You gave them contempt. And now you have reaped what you sowed." She received a private message on her communication device. It was from Taiwan. She opened it with trembling hands. It was short. "We are going home. We wish you well, that was all. No anger, no threats, no demands. Just a simple farewell." Gina closed the message and looked at the council. "They are not coming back," she said quietly. "Not unless we change. Not unless we admit we were wrong." "We were not wrong," several voices shouted. Gina sat down heavily. She felt very old and very tired. "Then enjoy your darkness," she said. "Enjoy your failed communication networks. Enjoy your dying patients. Enjoy the galaxy you built without humanity. I hope you find it sufficient." The council argued for hours. They blamed each other. They blamed the humans. They blamed everything except themselves. Meanwhile, behind closed borders, humanity worked. Young Sik, the new foreign director, stood before a screen showing dozens of alien ships waiting at the border of human space. They all wanted entry. They all wanted to talk. They all wanted the humans to come back. "Deny them all," Young Sik said. "We have work to do." "For how long?" his assistant asked. Young Sik smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Until they understand, however long that takes." In human space, construction accelerated. New colonies appeared in systems the Council did not even know existed. Human scientists worked day and night, free from Council restrictions. Technologies that had been forbidden were now pursued openly. Admiral Hyunwoo watched as the new fleet took shape. Ships larger than anything humanity had built before. Ships with weapons that did not exist 3 months ago. Ships with drives that bent space itself. "Will it be enough?" an officer asked. "More than enough," Hyunwoo replied. "The Council thinks we were weak because we struggled. They do not understand that struggle makes you strong. They have been comfortable for too long. They have forgotten what it means to fight for survival." Far away, on a small station at the edge of human space, scientist Sun Yi made a breakthrough. The equations finally worked. The theory she had been developing for years suddenly made sense. She looked at her screen in wonder. She had just figured out how to fold space, not just bend it like the Council species could do, actually fold it. The implications were staggering. She sent her report to the military, to the scientists, to everyone who needed to know. The reply came back quickly. "Continue your research. No restrictions, no limits. Show us what humanity can really do." Sun Yi smiled and got back to work. The Council had given humanity silence and isolation as punishment. Humanity was using that silence to become something new, something powerful, something the galaxy had never seen before. And when they finally emerged from that silence, nothing would ever be the same again. 6 months after the withdrawal, the Vorath speaker made a decision he thought he would never make. He decided to apologize to humans. It was not because he felt sorry. It was because his people were suffering. Power grids failed regularly now. Communication with other Vorath worlds was unreliable. The economy was struggling. All because of the human absence. He took a diplomatic ship to the border of human space. With him were representatives from a dozen other species, all coming to ask humans to return, all coming to offer better terms. The human border station was small but efficient. A single building floating in space marking the line that no one could cross without permission. "This is the Vorath diplomatic vessel requesting permission to enter human space," the speaker transmitted. "We wish to speak with human leadership about resuming our partnership." The reply came quickly. It was a recorded message. The voice was calm and professional. It belonged to Foreign Director Young Sik. "Human space is currently closed to outside visitors. We are focusing on internal development and are not accepting diplomatic missions at this time. Please turn back." This message will repeat. The Vorath speaker felt anger rising. "This is ridiculous," he said to his pilot. "Try again. Tell them this is urgent Council business." The pilot sent the message. The same recording played again. Word for word. No variation. "Send a personal message to Ambassador Taiwan," the speaker ordered. "Tell him I wish to apologize for the Council's behavior." The message was sent. Days passed. No reply came. The diplomatic ship waited at the border for a week. Every day they sent messages. Every day they received the same recorded response. Finally, their supplies ran low and they had to leave. On the way back, the Vorath speaker looked at the stars beyond human space. Stars that humans were surely exploring now. Stars that could have been explored together. "What have we done?" he whispered. Behind the closed borders, humanity expanded rapidly. The 12 systems became 20, then 40, then 80. The humans moved through uncharted space like they were born to it. They found worlds the Council did not know existed. They built colonies faster than any species had before. Admiral Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the flagship Indomitable. It was 3 times the size of the largest ship humanity had built before the withdrawal. Its hull was made of materials that did not exist in Council space. Its weapons could crack a planet. "Status report," Hyunwoo said. "All new colonies are operational," his second-in-command reported. "The frontier fleets are in position. The defense grid is complete. No alien vessel can enter our space without our knowledge." "Good," Hyunwoo said. "And the new drives?" "Successful. We can now travel distances in days that took us months before. The Council still uses quantum tunneling. We have moved beyond it." Hyunwoo allowed himself a small smile. When the Council had forbidden humans from researching quantum drives, they thought they were keeping humanity weak. Instead, they had forced humans to find a different path. A better path. Scientist Sun Yi had led that research. Her space-folding technology had changed everything. Now human ships could move across the galaxy faster than any Council vessel. They did not need the Council's tunnel network anymore. In fact, humans did not need the Council for anything anymore. The Lumini tried a different approach. If diplomacy would not work, perhaps they could use intelligence. They sent a spy ship to observe human space from a distance, just to see what the humans were doing. The ship entered the outer edge of the human border. Its cloaking technology was the best in the galaxy. No one should have been able to detect it. The ship vanished. No explosion. No distress signal. No wreckage. It was simply there one moment and gone the next. The Lumini sent another ship to investigate. It found nothing, not even debris. They sent a third ship, this time staying outside human space entirely, just observing from a safe distance. That ship saw something that made the Lumini High Command call an emergency meeting. Human ships. Hundreds of them. Ships that moved without conventional drives. Ships that appeared and disappeared as they folded space around them. Ships that were clearly designed for one thing: war. But the humans were not attacking anyone. They were patrolling, defending, making it clear that their space was theirs and theirs alone. The Lumini shared this information with the Council. The reaction was mixed. "They are building a military," the Vorath speaker said. "They plan to attack us." Council Elder Gina shook her head. "They are building a defense. There is a difference. They do not trust us anymore. Can you blame them? We should attack them first," a representative from the Chromath species suggested. "Before they become too strong." "With what?" Gina asked. "Our communication networks are failing. Our trade routes are dangerous. Our medical systems are collapsing. Half the Council species are dealing with internal problems because humans are not here to help anymore." "And you want to start a war?" The Council fell silent. She was right, and they all knew it. "We should send another diplomatic mission," the Ethrek ambassador said. "We should offer them full Council membership. Equal status. Everything they asked for." "Do you think they want that anymore?" Gina asked. "Do you think they still care about Council membership? Look at what they have built. They have done in 6 months what most species take decades to accomplish. They are expanding faster than any civilization in galactic history. They do not need us." "Everyone needs the Council," the Vorath speaker said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Do they?" Gina asked. "What do we offer them now? Access to trade routes they do not use? Protection they do not need? The privilege of paying tribute to a Council that mocked them?" No one had an answer. In human space, life continued to improve. The colonies thrived. Art and culture flourished. Scientific breakthroughs happened weekly, freed from Council restrictions and interference. Humanity was discovering what they could really achieve. Taiwan, now Secretary General of the United Human Worlds, received daily reports. Reports about Council space falling into chaos. Reports about the Council sending diplomatic missions that were turned away. Reports about alien species beginning to fight each other without human mediators to keep peace. His assistant, a young woman named Bora, looked worried. "Sir, the Vorath and Ethrek have started a war over mining rights in a disputed system. Thousands are dying." Taiwan looked at the report. He remembered that system. Humans had mediated that dispute for 20 years, keeping both sides calm. Now humans were gone and old hatreds had returned. "Should we intervene?" Bora asked. "No," Taiwan said. "They made their choice. They must live with the consequences. But people are dying." "People were always dying," Taiwan said sadly. "The Council never cared before. They only care now because it affects them." "Let them solve their own problems," Bora nodded, but she looked uncomfortable. "It feels wrong," she admitted. Watching and doing nothing, Taiwan understood. It was the human curse, the inability to watch suffering without wanting to help, even when those suffering had treated them badly. "Keep monitoring the situation," he said. "If it escalates beyond the two species, if innocent parties get involved, we will reconsider. But for now, we watch." Deep in Council space, a pirate fleet attacked a civilian convoy. Before the withdrawal, human patrol ships would have responded within minutes. Now there were no human ships. The local species tried to respond, but they were too slow. Half the convoy was destroyed before help arrived. Similar incidents happened across the galaxy, places that humans had been protecting quietly, without asking for recognition or reward. Now those places were vulnerable. The Council began to understand the full scale of what they had lost. It was not just technology. It was not just medical knowledge or communication networks or trade routes. It was security. It was stability. It was the quiet work that humans had been doing for 50 years. Work that went unnoticed because it was done so well. Now that work was undone and chaos spread. "We need to fix this," the Vorath speaker said at another council session. "We need the humans back." "They will not come back," Gina said. "Not for an apology. Not for better terms. We destroyed their trust. That cannot be rebuilt with words. Then what do we do?" Gina looked at the other council members. Proud species. Ancient civilizations, all struggling because they had taken humanity for granted. "We wait," she said. "We prove we have changed. And we hope that when the time comes, when they see we have learned our lesson, they will be merciful. And if they are not," Gina thought about Taiwan, about the quiet dignity he had shown even when being mocked, about the strength it took to walk away instead of fighting back. "Then we deserve whatever comes," she said. 2 years after humanity closed its borders, the galaxy changed forever. The warning came from a deep space monitoring station at the edge of Council territory. An automated system that had been watching the darkness beyond the galaxy for centuries. It had never sent an alert before. Now it screamed warnings that made every species in the Council go silent with fear. Something was coming. Something massive. Something hungry. The Council scientists analyzed the data with growing horror. It was a swarm. Billions of organic ships, each one alive, each one adapted to consume and destroy. They moved through space like locusts, stripping entire star systems of all matter before moving to the next. They were called the Devourers, and they had destroyed 17 galaxies before arriving at this one. "How long until they reach Council space?" the Vorath speaker asked. His voice shook. 3 months, a scientist replied. "Maybe less. They are accelerating." The Council mobilized every military force they had, thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, weapons that could destroy planets. It was not enough. The first battle happened at the Outer Rim. The Council sent their finest fleet, 2,000 warships crewed by the best warriors from a dozen species. They met the Devourer swarm head-on. The battle lasted 6 hours. The Council fleet was destroyed completely. Only 3 ships escaped to tell what happened. The Devourers adapted. Every weapon the Council used, every tactic they tried, the Devourers learned and countered. Energy weapons were absorbed. Missiles were caught and consumed. Nuclear explosions only fed them. The survivors described ships that changed shape as they fought. Ships that learned from every attack. Ships that turned the Council's own weapons against them. Panic spread through Council space. Entire civilizations began evacuating their homeworlds. But where could they go? The Devourers were everywhere, spreading through the galaxy like a plague. The Council held an emergency session. For the first time in its 10,000-year history, every species attended. Even those who normally sent representatives came themselves. This was extinction-level threat. "We need a miracle," the Vorath speaker said. He looked old now, worn down by 2 years of problems. "We need help." Everyone knew what he meant. Everyone knew who he was talking about. "The humans," Council Elder Gina said. "You want to ask the humans for help? Do we have a choice?" The speaker asked. "We are losing. Every battle we lose. The Devourers are 3 weeks from the core Council worlds now. In a month, billions will die. In 2 months, we will all be gone." The chamber was silent. The proud species who had mocked humanity now faced a simple truth. They needed the very people they had dismissed. "They will refuse," the Lumini representative said. "We treated them terribly. Why would they help us?" "Because they are human," Gina said softly. "And despite everything, humans have always helped those in need, even those who did not deserve it." "You have too much faith in them," the Ethrek ambassador said. "Do I?" Gina asked. "In 50 years, name one time humans refused to help someone who asked. Name one time they chose revenge over compassion. You cannot, because it never happened. That is what you mistook for weakness. That is what you mocked. Their inability to turn away from suffering." She stood slowly. "I will take the message to them. I will ask for their help. I do not know if they will answer, but I will try." "What do we offer them?" the Vorath speaker asked. "The truth," Gina said. "That we were wrong. That we need them. That we are sorry. Nothing else. No bargaining. No conditions. Just an honest plea for help." She took a small ship traveling alone to the human border. She was old and the journey was hard on her. But she persisted. At the border station, she sent a personal message. This is Council Elder Gina. I request an audience with Secretary General Taiwan. The matter is urgent and concerns the survival of all galactic species, including humanity. Please, I beg you, let me through. For 2 days, there was no response. Gina waited in her small ship, barely eating, barely sleeping. She watched the stars and wondered if this would be where her long life ended. Waiting at a border unwanted and alone. Then a human ship appeared. It was massive, built with technology Gina had never seen. It made her ship look like a toy. Council Elder Gina, a voice said. It was calm and professional. This is Commander Yunji of the Human Defense Fleet. You are cleared to enter human space. Please follow our guidance beacon. The Secretary General will see you. Relief flooded through Gina. They had answered. After 2 years of silence, they had answered. The human ship escorted her deep into human territory. Gina looked out the window and could barely believe what she saw. Stations larger than cities, ships beyond counting, colonies on every habitable world. In 2 years, humanity had built an empire. She was brought to a massive station orbiting a beautiful blue-green world. Human guards, polite but armed with weapons Gina did not recognize, escorted her to a meeting room. Taiwan entered. He looked the same as 2 years ago. Calm, dignified, unchanged by time or power. Elder Gina, he said, bowing slightly. It has been a long time. Please sit. You look tired. Gina sat gratefully. I am old, she said. And I come with a heavy burden. The Devourers, Taiwan said. We know. We have been watching. You have been watching us die and done nothing. You told us to leave, Taiwan said gently. You closed your doors to us. We respected that, just as we asked you to respect our closed borders, and you did not. Gina nodded. You are right. We have no right to ask for help. But I am asking anyway. Not for myself. For billions of innocent lives. For children who had nothing to do with the Council's decision. For species who will go extinct if the Devourers are not stopped. Why should we risk human lives for species that mocked us? Taiwan asked. But his voice was not cruel. It was genuinely curious. Because you are better than we were, Gina said. That is what I came to tell you. We were wrong about humanity. We saw your compassion as weakness. We saw your desire for peace as cowardice. We saw your willingness to help as servitude. We were fools. She pulled out a data device and set it on the table. This contains everything we know about the Devourers. Every battle, every loss, every tactic we tried. I am giving it to you freely with no conditions. If you choose not to help us, I will understand. But I wanted you to have this information, in case the Devourers come for you next. Taiwan looked at the device but did not pick it up. You think we cannot defeat them on our own? I think no one can defeat them alone, Gina said. But together, perhaps. If you have new weapons, new technology, new tactics. If you have remained united while we fell into chaos. If you have what the Council lost. Hope. Taiwan was silent for a long moment. Then he picked up the device. I will present this to the Human Assembly, he said. They will decide. I cannot promise anything. I understand, Gina said. She stood to leave, but Taiwan spoke again. Why did you defend us? 2 years ago in the Council. You tried to speak for us when no one else would. Gina smiled sadly. Because I am very old. I have seen thousands of species rise and fall. I have seen the patterns. The young species are always mocked by the old. But the young species are also where change comes from, where new ideas come from. The Council has been the same for 10,000 years. We needed something new. Someone new. We needed you. I knew that then. I know it now. Will the Council accept our help if we offer it? They will have no choice, Gina said. Pride cannot stop extinction. After Gina left, Taiwan called an emergency meeting of the Human Assembly. Leaders from every human world gathered virtually. Taiwan presented the situation. The Devourers. The Council's desperate plea. The choice humanity now faced. The debate was intense. Some argued for helping. Some argued for staying isolated. Everyone had strong feelings. Finally, an old woman spoke. Her name was Baksoon, and she was a philosopher who had lived through Earth's darkest times. Wars, famine, near extinction. She had seen it all. We have a choice, Baksoon said. We can let the Council fall. We can watch billions die. We can say they deserved it for how they treated us. And we would not be wrong, she paused. But we would also not be human anymore. Humanity has survived every disaster because we helped each other. Even when we had nothing, we shared. Even when we were afraid, we protected the weak. That is not weakness. That is what makes us human. She looked around the assembly. The council was wrong about us. Let us prove how wrong they were. Let us show them what humanity really means. Not revenge, not pride, compassion. Even for those who do not deserve it. Especially for those who do not deserve it. The vote was close, but it passed. Humanity would help on one condition. They would do it their way. The Battle of the Threshold began at dawn on a world whose name no one would remember. It was just another council planet in the path of the Devourers. Just another world about to die. The council fleet had assembled for one last stand. 3,000 ships, the largest force they had ever gathered. They formed a defensive line, knowing it would not be enough but having no other choice. The Devourers came like a wave of darkness. Billions of living ships, each one hungry, each one adapted to kill. The council opened fire. Energy weapons lit up space. Missiles streaked through the void. Nuclear explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. The Devourers absorbed it all. They adapted. They learned. They kept coming. The council line began to break. Ships exploded. Escape pods scattered. The Vorath speaker watched from his flagship and knew this was the end. Then space itself tore open. It was not a jump point or a tunnel. It was something else. Space folded, and through that fold came ships. Human ships. The council fleet fell silent in shock. There were 500 human vessels, but each one was massive. They dwarfed even the largest council dreadnought. Their hulls gleamed with unknown materials. Their shapes were elegant and deadly. And at the front was the flagship Indomitable, with Admiral Hyunwoo at its helm. "This is Admiral Hyunwoo of the United Human Worlds to all council forces." His voice broadcast across every frequency. "We are here to help. Follow our lead and we might all survive this." The Vorath speaker wanted to argue, wanted to take command, but his pride had died somewhere in the 2 years of suffering. "We follow your lead, Admiral," he said. "Good," Hyunwoo replied. "Then watch and learn." The human ships moved, not like the council ships, which flew through space using conventional drives. These ships folded space around them, appearing and disappearing across the battlefield instantly. One moment a human ship was 1,000 kilometers away. The next moment it was right beside a Devourer vessel, firing weapons that did not use energy or matter. They used quantum fields reaching into the Devourer ships and simply unmaking them at the molecular level. Devourer vessels that had adapted to every council weapon found themselves unable to adapt to weapons that broke the laws of physics they understood. In Dait, the command center of the Indomitable, Chief Tactical Officer Jin Woo analyzed the battle data in real time. His computers processed information at speeds the council could not match. Within minutes he found the pattern. "The Devourers communicate through quantum entanglement," Jin Woo reported. "They share information instantly across the entire swarm. That is how they adapt so fast. They are not individual ships. They are one mind in billions of bodies. Can we disrupt it?" Hyunwoo asked. "Already working on it," Jinwoo said. His fingers flew across controls, deploying quantum jammers. Human ships released small devices that spread through the battlefield. They hummed with energy, creating fields that disrupted quantum entanglement. Suddenly, the Devourers stopped moving as one coordinated swarm. They became confused, individual, vulnerable. "All council ships focus fire on the disrupted Devourers," Hyunwoo ordered. The council fleet, which had been falling back in retreat, rallied. They poured fire into the confused enemy. For the first time since the war began, Devourer ships died in large numbers, but the battle was not over. The Devourers adapted again. Some ships broke free of the jamming. They began coordinating, trying to reform the swarm mind. "They are learning to work around our jammers," Jinwoo reported. "Then we changed tactics," Hyunwoo said. "Deploy the bioweapon." In the medical bay of a human hospital ship, Medical Director Haiwan watched as her creation launched. She had spent 2 years developing it. A virus, not the kind that infected people, but one that infected the Devourers themselves. The virus spread invisibly through space. When it touched a Devourer ship, it did not kill immediately. Instead, it altered the ship's biology, making it produce signals that confused other Devourers, making them attack each other. Within an hour, the Devourer swarm began to tear itself apart. The council forces watched in amazement as the unstoppable enemy destroyed itself. As the organic ships that had consumed 17 galaxies fell to a weapon they could not adapt to fast enough. By evening, the battle was over. The Devourer swarm was broken. The survivors fled back into deep space, confused and defeated. The Council fleet cheered. They had won. With human help, they had actually won. On his flagship, the Vorath speaker opened a communication channel to the Indomitable. Admiral Hyunwoo, I do not know how to thank you. You saved us all. Thanks Secretary General Taewon, Hyunwoo replied. He made the decision to help. I just carried it out. Why did you help us? The speaker asked. After everything we did to you? Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. Because that is what humans do, he said finally. Even when it is hard. Even when it hurts. Even when the ones we help do not deserve it. We help anyway. That is not weakness. That is strength. 3 days after the battle, Council Elder Gina was invited to the Indomitable. She was old and tired, but she made the journey. Taewon met her in an observation room overlooking the planet they had saved. Millions of lives had been spared because of the human intervention. You could have let us die, Gina said. No one would have blamed you. I would have blamed us, Taewon replied. We would have blamed ourselves. That is the difference between humans and the Council. You care about who is right. We care about what is right. We were fools, Gina said. We saw your struggles and thought you were weak. We did not understand that those struggles made you strong. We saw your compassion and thought it was softness. We did not understand that compassion requires more strength than cruelty. She turned to face him. Will you return to the Council? Taewon looked out at the stars. Human ships patrolled the area, protecting Council worlds from any remaining devourers. Human engineers were already helping repair damaged stations. Human doctors were treating wounded aliens. We never needed the Council, Taewon said. But perhaps the Council needs to learn something from us. Something about working together. About respecting each other. About being partners instead of masters and servants. What are you proposing? A new Council, Taewon said. Not based on how old a species is or how advanced their technology was a million years ago. Based on what they contribute now. What they do for others. How they treat those who are different from them. He turned to Gina. We will help you rebuild. We will share our technology. We will defend Council space from any threat. But we will not ask for permission anymore. We are not your children. We are not your servants. We are your equals, whether you acknowledge it or not. He extended his hand. So here is our offer. A real alliance. True partners. We help each other. We respect each other. We build something better together than either of us could build alone. Gina looked at his hand. It was a simple gesture, but it meant everything. For 10,000 years, the Council had been based on hierarchy. On old species ruling young ones. On the strong dominating the weak. Taewon was offering something different. Something new. Equality. Gina took his hand. I will bring this to the Council, she said. I cannot promise they will all agree. Pride dies hard. Then let pride die, Taewon said. Let something better take its place. Over the following months, human ships remained in Council space. They patrolled borders. They hunted remaining devourer groups. They helped rebuild what was destroyed, and slowly the Council changed. The species who worked alongside humans began to understand them. They saw how humans treated each other, how they argued but still cooperated, how they made mistakes but learned from them, how they were different from each other but found strength in that diversity. The Vorath speaker gave a speech before the Council. I mocked humanity, he said. I called them children. I said they were too weak, too divided, too primitive. I was wrong about everything. He looked around the chamber. They saved us. Not because we deserved it. Not because they owed us, but because it was the right thing to do. That is a strength we lost somewhere in our 10,000 years of existence. The strength to do what is right even when it is hard. Not everyone agreed with him. Some species still clung to their pride. Some still believed the old ways were best. But enough agreed. Enough had learned. The Council reformed. Not completely. Not overnight. Change never happens that fast. But it began, and at the center of that change was humanity. Not as rulers, not as servants. As partners. 1 year after the Battle of the Threshold, a ceremony was held. The Council offered humanity full membership. Equal status. A seat of respect Taewon accepted, but he also made it clear. We join as equals. We vote as equals. We contribute as equals. And if that ever changes, if we are ever treated as less than equals again, we will leave. And this time we will not return." The council agreed. What choice did they have? In a quiet moment after the ceremony, Taewon stood with his old companions. Haewon, whose bioweapon had saved billions. Sung Ho, whose military strategies had won an impossible battle. Hyunwoo, whose fleet had turned the tide. Hyunji, Jinwoo, and all the others who had worked so hard for so long. "We did it," Haewon said. "We showed them, did we?" Taewon asked. "Or did we just show ourselves what we could become when we stopped trying to prove ourselves to others?" Sung Ho smiled. "Does it matter? We are here. We are equals. We are respected.